Is culture good for you? Join with me as we discuss the benefits, the consequences, and the advantages of being cultured. First off, you get invited to really smashing dinner parties where you get to wear a suit. Second, you get to laugh in an obnoxious way. Let me try an example. Third, people will take you more seriously. Not sure why they will, but they do, apparently. I don't know for sure, because I'm pretty uncultured, I suppose. So why am I talking about this? Screw that. Culture sucks, man. Fourth, being cultured allows you to drink tea in the afternoon and eat some cake, although they call it biscuits, and I'm not sure why. Fifth, being cultured allows you to have multiple forks. Sixth, being cultured allows you to smoke in a cigar room and talk to a bunch of other people about important stuff. I could keep going, but honestly, I don't know what else to say. I'm going to just keep making up like the dumbest, randomest things I can think of, and here's the catch. Is that really cultured, or is that just like an arrogant, snooty way of behaving? Let's actually talk about real culture and what is the function of culture. The function of culture is about helping people understand what they are in this world, which basically boils down to is worthless. Sorry, guys, you're worthless. If it helps any, I'm probably pretty worthless too. Yeah, that sucks. But it's kind of true. The whole point of the rules of culture are basically getting it pounded into your head that you can't do whatever you want. And inherently, people kind of want to do whatever they want. So, without culture, it would kind of suck. However, there is actually a flipping point. Eventually, you reach a point where the benefits of training and conditioning lose their merit. Do we reach a point where we begin to worry so much about what everyone else is thinking that we actually lose sight with what actually matters? I actually would argue that this is actually what Jesus was probably talking about. Sorry to pull out the J, watch out! Now that I've said that, I'm actually going to immediately switch over to talking about Paul, because I think Paul actually says it in a more refined way. I would argue that that is the distinction. Jesus is talking about broad, general concepts, and Paul actually kind of sits down and says, okay, let's actually hammer out some details here, guys, real fast. Let's go through this 1, 2, 3 and see what we end up with and where we end up with and why. Inherently, we all start out selfish. If you've never raised a kid, if you've never had a kid, then you maybe will argue with me. But trust me, if you have a kid, you will quickly understand that kids only really care about themselves. We have to teach them that other people matter. We have to teach them to think about other things. And inherently, this creates the concept of sin. If you need a reference, this would be in Romans chapter 6. We eventually reach a point where we become so worried about what other people think. We become so worried about what we are thinking about in a moment that we think that that is a measure of who we are. But as we mature and as we develop, we actually begin to gain control and influence over these things if you learn to deal with them in a healthy way, which is, I think, what Jesus was talking about. Rather than spending all my time worrying about whether I say the right thing or do the right thing, I should actually focus on, is it the right thing for me? Am I doing what I need for me? And this is important to emphasize because, it sounds incredibly wrong to say that, but at the same time, this is all built on the assumption of standardization. Okay? The benefit of culture is that it allows you to understand other people. It allows you to interact with those people. It allows you to progress. It allows you to develop. It allows you to advance. Culture is important. However, it is also a restriction. Culture holds you back more than anything else, and this is a necessary thing, a good thing, because if we didn't have something holding us back, we would have a lot more crazy people running around on this planet than we really want. As we develop this understanding, as we develop this knowledge, we progress beyond our understanding of the world around us, and we start to turn it in towards ourselves. We reverse the process, we go back, and then we learn to accept who we are and understand who we are and how we function in the world. So the answer is, for a child, culture is absolutely necessary. For a teenager, culture is a nightmare. For an adult, culture is just a thing that exists and you kind of learn to ignore it. Or at least that is for me. What do you guys do?